I'm Missy Woodward, and welcome to Critter Crusades, the show about ordinary people on extraordinary missions to help animals. We're here today to talk about a very important incident that happened in U.S. history, basically, the Katrina hurricane. It devastated New Orleans. It wiped out homes, took away people's lives, and also, unfortunately, took away the lives of animals. There are many people that were involved in rescuing humans, helping them get to new locations, getting into homes that were safe, getting their lives started again. But who took care of the animals? Who was there to make sure they were all right? And were they treated fairly? There's a tape I have here with a woman that was there to help rescue, and I'd like you to get a little bit more information from somebody that was on the ground helping animals, hers more specifically cats, but I think you're going to learn a little bit more about human nature itself. Please roll the tape.
How do you get people to help?
People showed up. It was the most amazing gathering of the great unknown rescue community, both in the United States and outside. I met people from Canada. I met people from Mexico. I met 2 veterinarians from Italy that had flown in to help. This is what people are about, and I think that the public, the U.S. public doesn't realize, or maybe they do, that there's a lot of us. And in the one facility that we were working in New Orleans, there had to be almost 40 volunteers who had come from all over the United States just to help animals. I met people from Kentucky, from Missouri, from Colorado, from Idaho, just like me, piled up their car with traps and crates and blankets and food and medical supplies, got in their cars and drove to New Orleans.
That just about says it all. People that were there to really be there for the animals, not just for the people. They were there for the people too, but specifically to help the animals. I have one more person here today that was very much a part of that effort and helped here in Los Angeles as well. I'm here to introduce Bobby Dorafshar of New Leash on Life. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for all the efforts that you did at Katrina. It's just insurmountable to think of what you went through. And I know that you've been very involved here in Los Angeles. You have your own organization, New Leash on Life.
Yes.
And that's been in existence for how long?
8 years now, 1997.
All right. I know of a wonderful, very popular event you have every year, the Nuts for Mutts dog show. Yes. For mixed breeds, and that's very popular. I know many people come. How many did you have this year?
We had over 10,000 people showed up for the show.
And it was amazing, and it's so much fun, and all the people get to parade their beautiful mutts around, and it really promotes the aspect that mutts are just as good as a purebred dog, and that all animals are incredible. Now, your organization, I have here a magazine that you put out that just talks about you and your wife that have been so involved in as founders and all the different things that you do for animals. But you did something extra special. You picked up and you went to New Orleans with all the different things that you do constantly to help animals. Why did you do that?
How could you not do it? We go through so much training in past 15 years with fire department, with animal services. We daily dealing with these creatures and with people, and it comes to a point they need your help. And yes, it would be very comfortable for me to stay here, not leave my family and my business and my organization and my kid, and I just couldn't deal with myself. This is the time I would be able to go and be effective. When you see a disaster comes, that's how people get united. And I was out of town when Katrina hit, actually, and I didn't know about it for a couple of days. By the time I find out, 2 days later, I was on the road. I asked a friend to just join forces with me. We contact other organizations which they were there. We ask what they need. And it was funny because in the last couple of days, which we gathering all this equipment and supply to go, day by day, the need was changes. So we're going from one place to another place and gathering everything we need to, and we drove straight, non-stop, to Louisiana and Mississippi as well.
It sounds like something you normally do, that you just pick up and take action. And you know what? I have some tape that actually shows probably something you're used to doing, and I think we can go ahead and roll this tape and see exactly what happens in your normal day. It looks like you just get in the car. You've probably gotten a call about an injured animal on the streets. you take out, you get your traps, you go with helpers, you find people that are available, and success. You're able to get an animal, but there's so many more steps that are involved in this, and I know it's from the health checks, from finding the right kind of resources to take care of this animal, the finances, but what really happens are the adoptions, is that it's such a success. You make people's lives different, you bring animals together with families, and most of all, you know, you help an animal's life that was out on the streets and is really not available to have anybody help.
Well, our goal always have been to find a permanent home for these creatures. When we're dealing with Los Angeles and over 180,000 companion animals, they actually get killed because there's not enough home for it. When we find those homes, we just get so excited. That's a fruit of our tree. We work so hard to get to that point. And it's amazing when you see a family to see these creatures and hug them and kiss them, and you see their smile. I mean, we don't just help the animals, we help the family to realize what companionship and love is about.
I love this page in your promo piece, and it just really says it all, adopted. Each one of these animals had the efforts that some people can't even imagine the efforts that go into one rescue. I know for myself, I'll rescue an animal and I'll have to grab some person out of a store and grab another person. We get the noose off of its neck, we pull it out, we take it home, then you've got to get it to the vet, then you've got to contact animal groups. Fortunately, you are an animal group, so you have resources already started, but all the different things that go into that, people don't even know about it, but people think there's all these wonderful groups all over the country, and as that woman said, they just picked up and left. And you just did that yourself. How was it? What was the first reaction?
The first reaction, it's kind of hard to understand it and realize it and imagine it. You drive, you're in rush, you got to get there as soon as you can. 2 hours of sleep, 2 hours drive, 2 hours of sleep, 2 hours drive, 24/7, and just go. When we got to the base of the first organization, they need some shading and some cover and the area to keep the animals cool. I walked into this place and I realized there are hundreds of people. They just going from right to left and carrying this stuff and organizing and just doing it, and nobody feels how tired they are. You're dealing with the heat, you're dealing with so much stress, and everybody want to do more. And sometimes you got to get back and control yourself because you cannot be exhausted either, and easily you can get exhausted. When you walk to the city, most amazing part of it was there is no color. The grass is dead, the bushes are dead, the cars are under mud, and there is no color. The only thing you see is a color of volunteers going from one home to another home and trying to listen if there is a dog in any home. It's not a one house or two house, it's streets after streets, track homes after track home, apartment buildings. First floor, second floor, everything is under mud, everything smells.
Now, were you finding people in situations as well during the same time?
Well, we
happening?
did not actually see many people. When we got there, people, they were actually left the town, which I'm glad I got there at that time because it would be a lot harder for me.
And they weren't allowing you to come in at that point
well,
either.
Well, they didn't allow anybody to go in.
Right.
And as a rescuer, we had our cards, we had our badges, we had our experience, we worked with a bigger organization, and we just went to help. And every moment was very important to us and to these creatures. People, they were out of the town, usually out of the city. They all been transferred to different areas. And the city was pretty much dead. You can smell it, you could feel it. I remember we pulled the van aside and I go to my first home, which we had information there is a dog there. Obviously we're knocking on the door, introducing ourselves, going through the house, have flashlight, everything is dark in the house, it's mud, all the furniture been rearranged, and some of them they will be, sometimes we could not go to a house because the refrigerator was behind the front door, just been moved that much. Go through the windows. we had to have gloves. Everything was toxic. You have mask on, you got gloves on, and you go to this home and you go through door to doors and room to rooms to find if anything is alive. I mean, you could find anything, cats,
So you were
dog,
prepared for also...
even a snake, birds. And the first experience, I went through the whole house. I knew as a fact they had a dog. We had a text message from Los Angeles. A family said, we have a dog on this address. So I was pretty sure there is a dog in there. And what I saw was the most amazing experience I had, because I see the dog laying on top of the mud, which is around 12 inches of a mud. And the head is above it. And the dog is absolutely skin and bone, doesn't have the energy to get up. And all you hear is a little noise of his tail is wagging. And we brought him up, we cleaned him up a little bit, and we give him a little bit of water, a little bit of a treat. And it's just so exciting when you notice they're not in the shock. They will drink a little bit of a water. Immediately, we hook up a IV fluid, and we just take him to our center, to the area we would be able to care for it. Street after streets, I mean, that's all you see. Once in a blue moon, you see another car, another rescue organization, you see another rescuers.
Now, when you went into the homes, did you see many animals that had already transpired? And
unfortunately, sometimes common sense is very hard for individual. And you know there is a storm coming. And you know they're asking you to leave because it's a dangerous storm. And 3 foot of a chain on the dog, tied up on the back porch. When the water went 11 foot up, there is no luck, there is no chance to live. So yes, we have seen situations which it was very, very hard to deal with. But we had to look further. We had to look at what we can do.
Were all of your rescuers trained as you were, or were they
I've
shocked?
seen a lot of rescuers which they really worked, they had experience. My experience as a dog trainer and a behaviorist and working with an aggressive dog, it put me in the front line a lot more.
Right.
So we had homes which they had dogs were aggressive and normal people could not get them, and they will give us those address for us to go and get those animals. We didn't work anything with the trapping because a lot of these animals, they were inside of the houses, so we just had to open the door and go in. Obviously, all the dogs, mostly the dogs, they were very protective of their home as well. But with a little bit of being patient and just deal with them, they all came to us and just lick our face. And we done our best to do the best we can do to bring him into safety, to give him water, to wash him. But the problem we had, we didn't even have water to wash these animals. We didn't have gas to fill up our cars. So we had to drive every other night, run 120 miles out of the town and fill up our tanks and come back and bring more gas.
When did you ever sleep?
We really didn't. To be honest with you, we hardly slept. We probably slept around 3 to 4 hours at night, maximum if we were very, very lucky. Average, we were on the field around 20 hours. And when we weren't in the field, we were taking care of these animals in our facilities, in the little crates, taking them for a walk, brush them, give them a little bit of attention, hand feed them.
Now, you had 2 trips there?
I made 2 trips. The first trip, I went to help out a couple other organizations, which they said they need help. When I got there, I ended up to go to actually New Orleans myself and work in middle of the city because the disaster was a lot worse into the city than out of the city. Other organization, they went in there and they actually put a TRI center, the center they can take care of dogs around 100 miles out of the city. I couldn't waste my time that much to drive every day for a couple hours to get to this point. We stay actually in the parking lot of a supermarket called Winn-Dixie. And asphalt, no bathrooms, no showers, no electricity, no water, no gasoline, absolutely nothing. When I went there, we took gasoline, we took generators, we took lights, we took water, but not enough because I really didn't know what I'm getting into.
Which was the problem with most people. They had no idea.
We all went there to help.
Right.
And we were there to help. Unfortunately, we didn't have any guidance. So we
Very
all
much, very
just
much like the
done-
woman said, everybody came together as a coalition.
Very much like the
woman said, everybody came together as a coalition.
That's all we did.
You just had to feel your way through.
People I met, I would never forget. I met the most amazing individual from all over the country. It still gives me a goosebump.
What do you think could be a solution if we are faced with something like this? We know that there was a lot of political issues that prevented people from coming on. What are some basics that people need to know about so that if this is happening again, we know hurricane season comes every year.
Yes.
We know these things, tornadoes happen. What can people do to help their animals?
Well, there is so many different ways to look at it. I honestly don't feel this disaster should have been this bad for our animals. I absolutely believe in it. I'm running a very small organization. We deal with a lot of very passionate individuals, which our focus is to help animals any way we can. We cannot save them all, but we're doing our best to do the most. The problem I noticed at the second day I was there was the organization were involved, and I do not want to name any of them, but the big organization which everybody rely on, they have no clue. Mm-hmm. Actually, I would say a lot of ways they make more problem than help the situation. This disaster could happen and we would be handled so much easier if the organization were involved. They had a plan for it. Making the plan wasn't that hard, but I don't think the focus was on the plan. The focus was just go ahead and do something. People, how we found animals in the homes was very simple, and people can do this. It would be perfect. We drove by, we did look at beware of dog sign. Okay? We take a look at somebody have bird fountain in front of their house. They're animal lovers. They have something. They care for animals. We look at the blinds, it been a scratch. We knew they had cats.
Right. You looked for telltale signs that normal people could say, there's an animal that lives there. Look for the stickers anybody could have. An animal lives here in case of fire. Also look outside for dog houses and different things.
Exactly.
Now, what about different things such as the individual like myself, if I'm wanting to prepare for a disaster? Is microchipping essential? I understood that people needed to have numbers out of state as well as in state.
Well, we send a lot of these dogs back home. And I'm so proud of it for the volunteers. They seriously, day and night, they sat down and researched completely and finding these owners. The percentage of a dog we rescued, they had tag was minimum. Mm-hmm. The number of the microchip we noticed on the animals, almost none. Maybe 1 or 2 from 200 I deal with personally. If people put a microchip, believe me, we'll find them. If under microchip, they have emergency numbers. Their vet numbers. Somebody from their family, somebody we will be able to get in touch with somehow. And we don't mind to wait to hold on to these animals till we find these people. Somewhere we could have leave a message for them so they know where to look for their animals. Collar and tag, something very simple.
Very much like here in Los Angeles, in case of an earthquake, you put alternate numbers in-state, out-of-state,
exactly.
So people can reach. Now, one thing I do want to talk about before we're through is that you had a fabulous event that you did.
Thank
it
you.
was a Super Katrina Adoption Day, and your group worked with Rescue for Refugees, mm-hmm. another group that was organized to help specifically for this event. You brought in animals. I know some were flown in, everything. And in looking at this booklet that was handed out that day, it was just amazing to see the pictures, but the number of animals that were in here were just unbelievable, beautiful, beautiful dogs and cats, might I add. And I loved seeing things like this, reunited with owner. That's my favorite. And I see this scruffy dog that looks like, who would even own that dog? And that dog had an owner.
Of course.
And I wonder, how did some of these get found? Like, I found one that was a cat that was reunited, and I thought it was so amazing. And I thought maybe the one reason that it helped it was that it had wearing turquoise collar with bell. And it's a basic tabby that anybody could have at their home. Your event was phenomenal. I was there. I got to see what was going on. How successful was it?
Absolutely great. Most of these dogs you've seen and the cats you've seen, we rescue them. we went through the homes, we trapped them, we were under the houses, we got them in. So we were personally, we were very attached to most of them. And we tried our best, any way we can, by posting them on every website of every organization got involved. Bigger website, which everybody was talking about. And we also want to make sure these animals to go to the right home, and their home. There are a lot of people would have taken advantage of this situation. And we were very, very strict to ask certain questions. And the information we put out, it wasn't complete. We always had something out, so we would be able to go back and make sure this is their own animal. It was amazing, and the whole idea of this magazine actually was Kim Fingers, a founder of Rescue for Refugee, and because it wasn't any internet access in Louisiana or Mississippi, we send them out to the libraries, to the FEMA locations, so people can go through that and find out where these animals are, and also give them a hope to continue looking for their animals.
Wonderful idea.
And we send these these magazines and catalogs all over the state pretty much. And a lot of people help. I mean, it's the most amazing things when you see disaster happen and how people, they get so united with each other. All of a sudden, everybody are a hero. Everybody want to be part of it. And that's the greatest thing about human nature. We really want to do positive things. And everybody I know, they want to be a hero. The worst person you know, they want to be a hero. It's just a matter of a lot of times, just go ahead and do it. Just try to do something very positive, because everybody needs it. People, they need them. Animals, they need them. And it wasn't easy. I would never forget the things I experienced myself. But the pleasure you get out of it is the most amazing thing. Super adoption just was the way to be able to get people which they want to help to come over and take some of these animals and give them a good home. And let them have Christmas with them. Let them have their own family. Let them sleep in the bed.
I know one thing you were so kind to do was that you let the animals from shelters here be there as well. And I think I read that out of maybe 27 animals, 26 were adopted that day.
Almost all of them.
Yes,
almost all of them went home.
It wasn't just the Katrina animals, which was so wonderful too.
We feel they're all the same.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Little one, big one, black one, white one, long hair, short hair, here, there, seriously doesn't matter.
So let me ask you, we have just a little bit of time left. What keeps you going every day?
Life. Looking at the future. I want to see my kid have a better life. I want to see people to realize what unconditional love is. A lot of people, they don't understand it. The best thing I can tell you, everybody I met, they never had a dog. When they had a dog, they could never live without it. Right. That's the bottom line, and that's what my experience is. I cannot live without it, you know.
So the future for New Leash on Life is you're still focused somewhat on Katrina animals, or how many more are
left? We have some left, and we really try to put a focus on the dogs. They need the home immediately, which is our shelter system. Some of them, they're still with us. We have some application which we are interviewing. Focus of New Leash on Life is to find a way to do the most effective organization. Right now, we rescuing dogs from shelter. We training them for service dogs for the
Wonderful.
Kids which they have disability, for the adults. We training animals to go to the hospitals and the retirement homes, and also being a companion animal. So we are doing our best to find every area we can bring a dog out of the shelter and give him a pleasure of owning that creature.
Now, you are not focused on cats, mostly only dogs.
At this time, mostly dogs.
Right. But you also work in concert with other groups, as if you heard about cats that needed homes, possibly you're letting them know about other groups, or do you...
One thing about Los Angeles, we have a lot of wonderful organization which their focus and their work goal is the same. And we help each other with the different animals. From wildlife, we have people helping us out with the dogs, with the cats. We're dealing with a lot of wonderful, wonderful individuals, which we're very, very different. But in heart, we have the same goal. And that's the only reason we would be able to deal with these issues, because we do have support of each other.
Well, it's insurmountable for some people to think of. People spend their lives, their days, they've got regular jobs, they've got families, they give up their time, they give up their vacations, they give up their money, they volunteer, they help out, and that's really what this show is about, is these people that are out there every day in the trenches. You're a person that has come from this field, I guess, as you said, you've been a dog trainer and different things. You come from the field specifically, but I know you have many people in your corps that help out, that have regular jobs. They are people that just want to be of service. And
Almost
I know,
everybody.
right, and I'm sure you're always open to those people to come on board and help. And people that see this show can find out more, and then they can find out, this might be the group that I want to be involved in. I know you'll have your Nuts for Mutts again next year, and
Yes.
you'll have your walk, and there's a lot of wonderful events that are going on. So I think it's a really great thing. And Bobby, I can't thank you enough for everything you do for animals. And when I see that, I just think, I want to get more involved, and there's so many other groups like yourself, but I know that we're at a time that everybody needs to get their say out there so people can know which group might fill their heart and say, this is a group I need to help. Thank you again, and best of luck to you and all that New Leash on Life does. And I just want to thank everyone for watching today, Critter Crusades, the show about ordinary people on extraordinary missions to help animals. Please go out there and help an animal. If you want to find out more, contact us at the number or email listed at the end of the show. And just know that you can make a difference in an animal's life, and you'll never regret it, just as Bobby said. Thank you.
And thank you.
Yeah, definitely.